Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Circle. We are joined by an incredibly special guest. You may know her from clubs such as Clares Court School, Maidenhead Hockey Club, Loughborough University, and the Canberra Chill in the Hockey One League in Australia, plus East Grinstead as well. International stats: the debut for England in 2017 with 87 caps and 11 goals. A GB debut in 2018 with 52 caps and 7 goals. And international achievements such as bronze in the Europeans, a bronze in Gold Coast Commonwealths, gold in the Birmingham Commonwealths, and bronze in the Tokyo Olympics. And achievements off the pitch as well, regarded as one of the fastest hockey players in any squad she decides to play in, plus a graduate from Loughborough University with a sports technology degree, and currently holds a Blue Peter sports badge, which I think is the best of them all. Please welcome Ellie Rayer, everybody.
What an introduction! Thank you very much.
It's no problem at all. I had to get absolutely everything in for that one.
Love it. Nah,
Um,
the Blue Peter Sports.
how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. We've just got back from the Europeans. Obviously slightly frustrating tournament for us. Some good bits, but some not so good bits. So very much looking forward to a little bit of downtime to kind of reset and then go again.
Yeah. Dare I ask how we're sort of feeling after the Euros, or after a bit of time to sort of reflect on them?
I think frustration is probably my main feeling. I think
Yeah.
we're gutted because we as a squad know we're capable of more than what we managed to deliver out there. And I think when you walk away from a tournament and you don't feel like you played your best hockey, it's annoying. Like when you get
Yeah.
beat on the day because the other team is just better than you. That's fair. And we had matches where teams probably were better than us, but I don't think we put our best hockey out there and we didn't showcase what we wanted to or what we were capable of. So I think there's that element of frustration because, yeah, that kind of looking at ourselves and what could we have done differently. We didn't finish fifth and miss out on a semi-final place and not qualify for the World Cup and all the things we set out to want to achieve, we didn't manage to do.
Yeah. And what's the debrief of that look like after the tournament? Is it right, this is what's happened, we're going to take away these key points and we're going to use that to benefit us for the next tournament? Or is it a bit more personal, players taking different reflections off it?
I think everyone sort of has their own processes and how they do it. For me, I think very much you got to look internal first and figure out where was I good, where was I not good, what could I have done differently. And then there's obviously the bigger picture and the wider thing of just us as a squad and us as a team, because it is a team sport ultimately. So I think we've kind of got these weeks now to process, to figure it out, to get everything out of your head, write it down, get it into the review, and then we'll debrief and we'll figure it all out and we'll move on from here. Because a lot of wasn't how we wanted to be feeling, and we can turn it into a lesson, and that's okay. It's pants now, but as long as we learn from it and move on forward from it, it won't be the worst thing that's ever happened. It's going to be the worst things that happened if we walk away from it, don't reflect, and don't improve, and then go back to another tournament, and then happens again type thing. So how we twist and spin it is very much in our own control. And I definitely know how I want to approach it moving forward. So
no, and look, you can take that into the next tournament or the next batch of matches and use that as fuel to do better. And I think it marks a team and players on how they're able to do that. And I think you guys have had quite an up and down journey throughout sort of almost everyone's career in that England women's side. So I think, if there's been a low moment, you've then followed up by medals, qualifying in sort of the next tournament. So I'm looking forward to see what happens next for y'all.
No, thank you. Me too.
Yeah. Right, enough about that. That's done and dusted now. I believe that actually was it judo and rugby were your sort of first sporting loves rather than hockey?
Yeah, completely. I was like a sports mad kid.
Yeah.
Probably had a go at every sport. Well, I could have a go at. Did a lot of school, and yeah, I went down to the rugby club when I was under 6, and loved it. So that was like my first taste of team sport. And then yeah, we had a little judo club at school, and every Wednesday you could go and do some judo. And from about the age of 7, I did that. So yeah, kind of where I began. And I always say when I go and talk to people about like sporting journey, every sport I've done, you can see how it impacts and influences my game and what I've learned from it.
Yeah.
And judo and rugby are 2 big ones that, yeah, I still know there's bits from my game now that I'm like, oh, I can do that because I did judo, or I learned that from playing rugby.
Yes.
So yeah, but I've always had like an individual and a team sport going on.
Okay. And does that, the individual sport, help with your mentality of you playing on the pitch, while that team sport then helps you with structure within a team, being able to communicate as a team, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think so. So when I got a little bit older, my other sport, or my individual sport, then became athletics.
Yes.
Which I say is kind of where I've got my speed to thank for that. But it was always you go down the track and it's just you. It's you racing against yourself, you bettering yourself at training. You're obviously then stepping out to compete, and you're competing against other people, but ultimately you've got your PBs that you're chasing and your time. So it's very much you have to look internally, and if you don't perform on the day, it's you. You can't. It might be a bit windy or something like that, but ultimately it's you. So you become you're your own biggest critic, and you need to be your own biggest supporter at the same time. And taking that into a team sport, I learned quite a lot, because it's nice to have those other people around you to support you and to learn from.
Yeah.
And to, when you don't have such a good day, like, you can look to everyone and you can look to people.
Yeah.
And you can kind of share that together, and that like camaraderie type thing, which I think has definitely kind of helped me along the way. And I think ultimately why I chose hockey, because the team and the element of people, and that shared goal, is kind of what inspires me.
Yeah. And at what point did you decide hockey is going to be your sport? Were you teetering between athletics and hockey, or another sport in hockey, and you just went, right, no, I've been able to get 2 steps or even a slight step higher in this. I'm gonna follow through on that? Or what was the deciding factor?
To be honest, I thought, so when I was like, sounds silly, so under 15, I was under 15 indoor national pentathlon champion, which is like,
wow,
the build up to when you get a bit older, you then do heptathlons. So that's kind of where the dream, that's kind of what I was, chasing and dreaming of. And that was under 15, and at the same time, I think then that following summer, a couple months after, I got a call up to Hypac, and then an England trial, and then I got selected into the squad, and being given some England kit and earning that sort of like England vest and representation at that point was a bit like, well, I'd be mad not to give this a go.
Give this a go, yeah.
So athletics never stopped, to be honest. Athletics only stopped when I got literally to Loughborough. I juggled the whole way through my teens, so from 14 to 18, kind of juggled. But just athletics was on the back burner. And then I obviously wasn't doing multi-events because I wasn't training as much. So I would just kind of fill in, and having had a multi-events background, I could rock up and compete on the weekends and kind of fill in events and run from a shot put to a hurdles to a sprint to a long jump, like kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. And then athletics kind of became, I was then just doing like 4 hurdles, because if you're being fit for hockey, the training kind of worked, and I think my physiology, it worked for me, so I could kind of just do both. So up until 18, so I did an England under 21s or under 23s tournament. Then I went to Loughborough, did my last athletics event for my club, and then that was that. Kind of bowed out from there. But yeah, I think I kind of know where I am today because of my athletics background.
Yeah.
I've learnt a lot of skills along the way, but ultimately that's what got me noticed, and that's what gave me an opportunity. And then I crafted pretty bloody hard to
Yeah.
sort of upskill other areas.
And that journey through the underage groups for England and things like that, how did you find that? It's been really interesting chatting to people that have gone through it. Some people have loved it and have just thought it's been the best way to get through. Some people have found it difficult in terms of balancing that school work and hockey, high end hockey, even at those underage groups. How did you find it?
I loved it at the time. I kind of always felt on the edge of it. So when I was younger, I remember sitting in a room and being told by Mark Borhill at under 16s, like, in this room there's 30 of you, 10 of you will make it to under 18s, maybe 1 or 2 of you will make it to under 21s, and if we're lucky we might get 1 of you into the seniors. And I remember sitting in that room at that point feeling like the 35th name on the team sheet into the squad of 35, being like, that's really cool, but that's never going to happen for me. So then kind of when each age group came, it was like, oh, I'm still in this is pretty cool. And kind of just kept grafting and learning. And for me, I think I learned so much going through it. Like the player I was at under 16s versus the player I was even a year later, how much it helped me and sort of guided me through. Very, very grateful for. I was also age trapped. So I'm a November birthday, which it kind of meant that, like, at under 16s, most people were doing their GCSEs. I wasn't. I was in year 10. So it kind of didn't clash too much. And then I did under 18s a year early, but I didn't really get picked for things. So then that was my GCSE year. So for me, going through, and then I kind of joined the 21s when I was in my final year of school. So I'd miss like Wednesdays and I'd go off to 21s and bits like that. So I think the major stresses didn't really clash for me, and it was always cool to be able to train with people that are older than you and that are maybe a bit physically stronger than you and bits like that. So my journey through, I think back to it quite fondly because I say it got me to where I am today. But there's many people that probably were in that system at that time who I thought would be where I am and aren't, and probably people at the time who are nowhere near, who are now heads and shoulders above and fully in the system. So it's kind of like everyone's journey is different. I don't think there's a right and a wrong, but yeah, it worked for me. So I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah. And how did you find the jumps between the age groups? So from the skill level, physicality from 16 to 18s, and then the same from 18s to 21s. Was there a massive shift in those? Or was it because you were going up gradually, you didn't notice it as much?
I think because I was going up gradually, I didn't notice it as much. And you're kind of moving through with the same players and the same group of people, and you're kind of all growing together, if that makes sense. So I do remember I did under 16s, and then some people got put straight forward to under 18 Futures Cup trials. And I didn't. I went back to High Pack, did under 17s, and then got an England trial from that. And I remember thinking the difference between the High Pack then and 18s. But that was probably the only time I really, really remembered it happening. And then, lucky enough to get involved with like 21's development stuff. And then you're playing with some of the older people, and then it's what can you learn from them, which was cool. I say my physicality stuff is, I was small, but I've been quick, and I'm having played rugby and all of that. Like I never felt too small or like I'd be pushed off the ball type thing. So in that sense, I was kind of lucky.
No, absolutely, and that goes back to playing as many sports as possible before committing to one or finding your sport that you'll take on. And exactly like you said, they all help in some way. Can you remember then your senior trial and then eventually the selection then for the senior squad?
Yeah, I can. I'd actually injured my ankle in the May 2016.
Okay.
I was at Loughborough and I'd gone down we're allowed to train with the boys in the summer. just to sort of like upskill
Okay.
a bit more. And I'd gone down and I was warming up and I went to jump over a little pitch barrier. Someone had mistrapped the ball and I literally jumped over it,
Oh no.
landed straight on the ball and completely went over on my ankle, ruptured my
Okay.
ACFL and all that. And I was down at the session with the boys, so I was like, gotta be tough, like, you're fine, you're okay. Tried to play on and I was like, I don't think I can. Went back, took my shoe
Yeah.
off, obviously my ankle was huge. And I'd ruptured my ATFL. And then a couple of weeks later I found out I'd got a senior trial. So by the
Oh
time
no.
I went in September 2016, I was 3 or 4 months down the line and kind of ready to go, but after 3 days of centralised training on the assessment, my ankle wasn't in the best shape for it. So I
Yeah.
kind of then almost rehabbed my ankle through ahead of our Junior World Cup. So they kind of looked after me and said, you're under assessment, but we need to get you ready. We'll keep assessing you, do what you can, but we need to get this ankle right and your involvement in 21s. So
Yeah.
I think my trial period felt quite different to probably other people's because I was kind of in and out of physio and with S&C and rehabbing and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we found out on our way back from our Junior World Cup in Chile. So for me, who'd got a contract, it was a very enjoyable flight home.
Yes.
I was buzzing on a different, just delighted. But obviously, I think there were 8 of us out there, and I think 4 were told they were in, 2 were told no, and 1 was told part-time maybe. So then it was a very different
Okay.
journey, and I think that was quite hard for us as a squad to navigate and to look out for each other, but also sort of the other girls in 21s who had no idea we were waiting on emails type thing. So
Yeah.
that was quite an interesting dynamic, but yeah, I remember it was very much a pinch me moment when I got that.
I would say so. And then pretty much straight away into some very big tournament experience in that Europeans, and then of course winning bronze in it. How was that to go? From coming over from a Junior World Cup, getting the nod to say yes, you've made it, to, I would say, pretty intense training probably, gearing up
Yeah.
for the Europeans.
Yeah, so I was delighted to be in the program, and we had
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a World League qualifier, World League 3 in Johannesburg in
Okay.
2017 in June-ish time, maybe May, June.
Okay.
And I remember I didn't get picked for it. And I was a bit like running up into selection. I was like, I'm just a full-time hockey player. How cool is this? Like, if I don't get picked, I'll be okay. Like, it's fine. Selection came out.
Yeah.
And I remember it hit me so hard because I was like, God, okay, just being a full-time player and just training's not enough. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do. So I went back to 21s for a couple of weeks and then rejoined the girls, trained really hard, got picked for Europeans. And then still to this day, when people ask what's one of my favourite moments in an England shirt, it's that tournament because we're playing like our semi-final. We played against the Dutch at the Wagner Stadium in front of a sellout crowd, like 10,000 people cheering for the Dutch, all in orange. But the noise and the
Yeah.
atmosphere was just electric. And I remember being like, this is so cool. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do and this is what I want to chase. And if I can have as many moments like this as possible throughout my career, like, that's what I want to do it for.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we lost 1-0 in the 52nd minute. They scored a goal and we defended all game. But it was just, special then to go on and to get a bronze and that first tournament and a medal, and the only European medal that I've managed to get. It was really special and just like a kickstart of, this is what international hockey can be and this is what you can go out there and do and achieve.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very, very cool.
Yeah. And then again, you had a great run of things at the start, and then literally the next year you had the 2018 Commonwealth over in the Gold Coast. So that was, as a second major tournament, really, that's not a bad one to go to.
Yeah.
How was it being over there and the whole experience of then the Commonwealth Games?
Just again amazing. Like, a multi-sport experience is incredible, and it's not like any other tournament, and it's just this bigger picture thing. And for me, like, I'd never been to Australia. One of the things I loved was, and I do love about this sport, is that you get to travel and you get to go to places that you might not have previously been or you might not get to explore.
Yeah.
So for me to step over to the other side of the world, obviously the Aussies are sports mad, so they put on such a good event. Like the crowds, the fans, the volunteers, everything. The bar was set pretty high, to be honest. So it's like 2 tournaments, 2 medals, and just sort of like the passion, the crowds, everything was really quite special. And I was kind of always, I look back to sort of those times now as sort of the youngest in the team, as a newbie in. You're kind of so naive to so many things that go on. You're just so in the moment and in the experience, and like you want to step up and perform, but ultimately people aren't looking at you. They're looking at your heroes, like your Alex Danson, your Bray, your other huge names that like I'd come into the squad looking at, admiring, had been like my role models. Like you're there playing alongside them, but it's a really funny feeling to explain. So you could really like enjoy it so much without feeling that additional like external pressure. Obviously your own pressure you put on yourself to perform, but in a very different way.
It was because that was going to be one of the questions I was going to ask. But I would say you've played in a few of England GB's greatest women's teams in terms of the players in it. Like, and I remember I read somewhere that you said that you remember watching the 2012 London Games and going, this is definitely, what I want to do. What was it like then, literally a handful of, years later, being able to play with those people?
Yeah, pretty surreal. So when I joined the squad, obviously after an Olympic year, lots of people, you go off and do your own thing. Some people take longer breaks. So I kind of came back in, and some people were in straight away, but it was kind of like a gradual drip feed of these people that I just watched and I'd been watching for years, and I'd been going to tournaments and driving to Chiswick to watch league, like world finals and stuff like that. World League finals, sorry, and champs trophies and all of that. This drip feed of they were slowly joining WhatsApp groups, and they were slowly messaging, and they were slowly like turning up at Bisham and then speaking to them, and from these heroes that you've had on a pedestal to then suddenly just being like, they know my name, like like they're my teammate now. Was really quite special. But from the get go, like I'd honestly say that one of the things I love about the squad and Bisham and all those girls at the time is they like from the get go I felt like they wanted to help. They wanted to support. They had obviously just achieved incredible things, but they still wanted to make this new group better and to help people improve and to drive that forward and have, I think they realised the power of a team, and you want every individual firing, and how to get the best out of people. And also, like I was young, I wanted to learn, I was raw, like they could see what I needed to learn and probably what they wanted me to know, and they gave me that information. So I feel forever grateful for it, and I'm really pretty lucky to call a lot of them friends now. Which if you'd asked me that 13 years ago in 2012 when I'm sat there in the crowd watching them, it's quite full circle. It's quite nice.
I know. I think, and it's another reason why I think so many people love certainly hockey and sport in general, is you can be only a handful of years away from playing with the people that you've grown up watching. And if you can do that, then it's even better. And then you've realized, actually, I've started there, I've got to this point, I'm now training with some of the best English and GB women that's ever happened, and then you can then be part of that next cycle, and the next kid that decides to pick up a hockey stick going, I saw Ellie Rayer score 2 goals against France in the Europeans, and I'm gonna try and do that too.
It's special. It's quite funny, like even now, some of the like our newbies, youngsters into the squad, they've got like I think one of them, Georgie Gardens maybe, had a picture, and she went, I've got a picture like of you signing my stick at the World Cup in 2018. And like things like that are really quite cool. And so I went through all the obviously junior system when I was younger, and being based at Loughborough, lots of camps at Lillishall, so there were lots of times where I'd go and speak to like the under-16s at the time, and those under-16s are now my teammates in this squad, which is really, really quite funny to think. And then you get nervous when they go, "Oh, you said this to me," and I was like, "Oh no, what did I say?" But so far, there's no bad stories, so it's all good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It is funny.
And then but I think that's the great thing about sport in general, is it can happen, and stories like yours, stories like theirs, it's something that can happen. It's not this untouchable thing. Like me, like I'll use football as an example because there's so many people play it. The success rate for it's quite narrow. In our sport, it can be done, and it's proved to be done, and I think it makes it so much more special.
Yeah. No, I do agree.
Yeah. Well, happy days. And obviously to play in all these major tournaments, you need to use some very nice hockey equipment. What gear are you using at the minute?
So I'm lucky enough to have been sponsored by Adidas and Specialist Sports since I think my first year of under 18.
Wow.
So I've gone through my whole journey really as an Adidas sponsored athlete, which is again pretty special and pretty cool.
Yeah.
Love their stuff. So yeah, I'm currently using, I think it's the inner Chroma Skin 2. So it's like the middle grade top stick.
Yes.
Just for, I say, the raw elements of my game, I think still appear every now and then. So having a stick with the most carbon in and that power, I thought for me, I'm going to make sure I can trap the ball before I'm trying to absolutely whack it. So I went a level 2 for that reason. And I'm in the new Fabella shoes now, which I have loved some of Adidas's shoes over the years. Like I look back at pictures sort of just throughout my career and all the different shoes that I've rocked up in.
Yeah.
And I must say this season's, they're probably up there with some of my favourites.
Okay.
The green old school camo Addy Power.
Yes.
They are still my favourites to this day.
Yeah.
But
I think they're most people's favourites, to be honest.
They were up there. But yeah, the stuff at the moment is really, really nice. And it's really cool to kind of be a part of it.
Yeah. Are you using the blue or the blue or the blue cheetah print or the sort of standard cheetah print ones now?
I'm using the standard cheetah.
Very nice.
I was going to try out the blue because I thought blue's a bit more me, but I never used to be that fussy, but I've now become quite fussy with my sticks and the weight and the balance point and all that. And I just found nicer ones with the kind of the golden, bronzy, brassy coloured cheetah or leopard print.
Yeah, and then obviously the matching shoes then too.
Yeah, the matching shoes, but I couldn't decide because we live in Astros so much. Like I get through Astros quite a lot. Yeah, quite a few pairs across the season. So I've kind of got 3 on the go at the moment, and I've got one of each colour. Okay. And at the start, it was very much like, I'm going to wear blue to train at Bisham. I'm going to wear pink at EG, and I'm going to wear like the champagne ones for all matches. And that's already gone out the window. But my challenge for myself this season is not to get superstitious with it. If I have a good game in one pair of shoes, it's not the shoes. So I then don't get stuck wearing the same shoes.
Okay, very good.
It's easy to fall into it, isn't it?
It's very easy. We're all strange people when it comes to those sort of things. And you mentioned that you're a bit picky now on balance points and things like that. What's your stick setup? It's been interesting to hear everyone's different views on it. Like some people love having like 90 million grips or just one chamois grip or a really headlight stick. What's yours?
Currently, I want the stick as light as possible. So anything under, ideally under 515 grams.
Okay.
Really. And I like the balance point between like 39.5 to 40. Anywhere around 39.5 is the sweet spot normally. So that tends to be what I ask for and what I go for. And just, give it a go. And that seems to work for me. I don't like a stick that's too heavy, and I don't want it to feel too head heavy. I laugh and I say I want it to feel like a wand. Like, you want to
That's
be
the way
able
to do
to
it.
kind of like just dance around with it. Sounds really silly as I say it, but that's kind of like
No,
my approach to it.
it's
And yeah,
I think that's how people like certainly in here when they're picking sticks up or looking for sticks. Yeah, well, one, they want to feel like you can move the ball really easily, or
yeah,
it all comes naturally. That's how people pick sticks. So no,
yeah.
it's not silly. Don't worry about that. We've had silly things, but that's not silly.
I'll take that then.
Are you chamois grip or just the sort of stock grip that would be on the stick?
So I always used to be the stock grip, and
Okay.
then a couple of seasons ago, Adidas brought out. I think it was called the Adazine. It's like the towel,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and I've become quite a big fan of that. Um,
Yeah.
I think the only issue is they might have stopped making it. So I've got a little stash at home which I'm trying to get through very slowly, and then I'll have to cross that bridge of what do I do then.
Oh no.
So yeah, we're on the case. We're saying please make some more. Please do it again.
Yeah.
Um,
Just one more batch. One more
just one
batch.
more batch, just to let me just stockpile. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've never really been a chamois girl. Um, don't know
Some
why,
people just don't
but
like it.
yeah, it's funny. I think the one time I got really fussy about grips was playing indoor a couple of years ago,
Okay.
and we had like a guy called Chris come over, and he was Austrian German, very good indoor coach, and he came
Hmm.
over, and I just had the stock grip on that, and he looked at me like I was stupid, and he was like, "Here," so he put on this like proper indoor grip he had, and it almost
Right.
like the top of the grip where your left hand would be, almost had like a seam running down the middle of it. So you almost had extra
Okay.
grip and traction on it, and then you got lower down to your right hand, and then it was a different material and different texture. That was the best
Okay.
grip I think I've ever had. Don't know what it was, never been able to find one since, but it was a
Yeah.
really
And
cool grip. And
that
that's the
tends
only
to be
other
the
time
case.
I felt fussy. So
And then are you wanting the same sort of thing then for your indoor stick as well, in terms of the really nice and light, same sort of balance point, or because of how an indoor stick is, you don't really mind?
I'm not as fussed about the balance point or anything like that. I like light, and I also like a wooden stick for indoor. So I
Interesting.
would always go back to a wooden stick. But yeah, indoors one of those that I adore it. I think it's so good for me, and it forces me to do things that maybe I don't find come so naturally. So when I come back to outdoor, I
Yeah.
feel so sharp off the back of it, and yeah, I love it. I think it's so good. So I try and play as much as possible. So yeah, indoor stick's not as fussy, but a
Okay.
nice wooden stick that hopefully I don't break.
The Do you go for wood because you've got that softer feel to it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
cushions it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like the springiness of it almost when you're playing, and that
Yeah.
flex. Yeah, I'm a fan, a big fan.
Fair enough. And you've also been quite outspoken with working with the likes of Opera as well, and with their mouth guards. It Does that sort of personal protection come from that degree from Loughborough? Just that extra, right? I've done the research into these injuries. I've done this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure I'm fully kitted up.
yeah, a little bit. I think there's kind of two threads to it. One is yes, the background in sports technology, having an engineering degree and looking at sort of injuries and protective equipment and research into how good protective equipment is or isn't can be
Mm-hmm.
quite eye opening. So for me, that's
Yeah.
definitely one factor to it. The second is like injuries are a part of sport. I know that it's never going to be, you're never going to have a time where it's not.
Yeah.
But, and hockey's probably a sport where you're going to get lots of injuries just because of the nature of the game and the
Mm-hmm.
mechanisms of it. So if I can wear something that might reduce the likelihood of injuries and keep me on the pitch for longer, I feel I'd be silly not to.
Yeah.
Because you, with all the protective equipment in the world, you can still get injured. But without protective
Yeah.
equipment, you're probably even more likely to. So if I can
Yeah.
have what I perceive as the best equipment to protect me on the pitch, to keep me on the pitch for as long as possible, that's kind of my approach to it. Because ultimately, I'd love to play this game forever. I can play it. Hockey's a game where you probably can play it for a long, long time. It just doesn't look
Yeah,
quite the same as you get older.
yeah.
But I'm not going to be a centralised full-time athlete forever. So while I'm young and fit and my body's able and I'm in this position, like I want to be on the pitch as much as possible.
Yeah.
Which is then why, yeah, I will always, always have my gum shield in, protection on. Because to me it's just a bit of a no-brainer. Like I'd kick myself if I got injured because I wasn't wearing a gum shield or something like that.
I didn't put it on.
Yeah, like how silly. So yeah, I feel quite passionate about that. And one of the things, like when you go into schools, they always ask like, what injuries have you got? And for some kids, I think when they ask that question, they think it's like a badge of honour. But then for some, like you say, come and have a go at hockey, and then they ask what injuries she's had, and you're reeling off this list. For some, it can then just put them off completely. So it's kind of like a fine line of that's sport and it's going to happen. But you can do things to sort of mitigate it, and yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And then again, you seem to be one of the first ones that appeared on a hockey pitch with the foot guards as well then.
Yeah.
Like that, well before sort of now where they're a lot more mainstream.
Yeah.
Again, did that come from knowledge of it, being able to look at it and go, actually, that's something that I need, or is it to protect yourself from an injury that you already had gotten?
We're incredibly lucky that the UKSI and England Hockey and GB Hockey work really closely together, and they'd recognise just the number of injuries from, especially I think the boys getting like balls into their feet and corners and broken naviculars and stuff like that, and how much time probably people were missing out of the game. That they did research into it and came up with those foot protectors, which were amazing. And at the start, I think I wore them religiously because, again, it was very much the approach of I was quite good at getting hit on the feet. Either I didn't get my left hand low enough, or I was running, or whatever, and my feet were taking a whack. And then got to the point where I think maybe I got better at protecting my feet. So I'm kind of in this limbo at the moment where I'll put them on during training sometimes. I kind of feel lighter without them on matches. So if I can, I'll go that. But if I've been whacked on the foot in training or whacked on the foot recently, they go straight back on to then just protect and look after it while it kind of heals and nurtures a bit. So yeah, it's quite cool that we're kind of some of the first to do it, and now see how it's taken off and how many people are wearing it now. Because as a market, people don't want to get hurt and people do want to protect themselves. So you go for it.
No, it's interesting. A lot of people do the same thing that you do, of wearing far more protection during training, because that's normally when you're gonna get injured. Because you're repetitively doing something, opposed to a hockey match where realistically it's going to be a freak thing unless someone's shelling the ball at your feet constantly. But it like certainly here, anyone comes in, asking for a glove tends to be because they've got smacked in 3 training sessions and now you're going, I want to play my match but don't want to get hurt.
No, fully. I think you spent out way more hours on the pitch as well, training. Like we do, especially. True. Like we'll spend 15 hours a week or whatever just training. So then we're playing matches. Like at the moment, obviously international stuff's on slight pause, but we'll go back to club stuff and we'll have one game on the weekend, and then you've got everything else that week is training. So you're just more exposed to it then as well. And everyone, you want to get through training to get to the matches. Like you train for the matches, or that's very much my mentality. Like I love match play and I love playing games. So that's where I want to be. Like I don't want to get injured in training to then miss out on those opportunities.
That's a good mentality to have, and I would assume that sort of mentality definitely helped then when going to Tokyo, so first Olympic Games, and again coming away with another bronze. That was an experience for multiple ways, I would say.
Yeah, completely. I think from a young age, like having been a sport nut, like I'd always wanted to go to an Olympics, and when I was younger, I watched Kelly Holmes win, and I remember saying I want to go to an Olympics. I don't care what sport. At that time, it definitely wouldn't have been for hockey, but I want to go and I want to try and emulate that. So yeah, when Tokyo came around, to be able to become an Olympian, to then win a bronze medal, when realistically, I don't think many people would have pitched us as winning a bronze medal, sort of in the build up to it, was just incredible. I think the whole fact that it was the COVID Olympics means I can say I went to an Olympic Games that, like no other, that not many people can say they're an Olympian, and even less can say they went to a COVID Games.
That's true.
Which is a really funny twist. But then I can also, like, the experience in itself, like I broke my nose out there and I went through the tournament with a broken nose and bits like that. It was just, like a bit of a daze. Like, you kind of went through it in a bit of a dream. But it was so incredibly special. And the fondest of memories.
It really, like, the stadiums were massive and looked fantastic. And I think in one respect, with no crowds in it, certainly with your bronze medal match, did you feel like it was obviously the pressure of it still being Olympic Games and all of that, but was there a little bit of pressure taken off not having the crowds and it being almost having the feel of a normal Saturday match? Certainly for like East Grinstead, it's a club match. There's one man, there's dog there occasionally. And did it have that feel, or was it still very much, this is an Olympic Games?
The pressure bit, I remember feeling like, in a weird way, because it was my first, and I would much rather have us had crowds and friends and family there. But because they weren't, that was a pressure removed in itself. Like, these people and your friends and your family that would have been there, they've been on this journey with you, they want the best for you, but you also know how they're living every moment. They're as nervous as, well, they're probably more nervous than you because they've got no control over the situation. And when you look to the crowd and you see them there, like, it's incredibly special, but it's also that, like, you want to do it for them and there's a reminder that they're there, if that makes sense. So not having them there, I think for me, in that whole, it's my first Olympic Games, like, what we're doing was just a complete, not distraction, but I guess I will call it a distraction, just removed. And so in that sense, it was strangely weird because that was just gone. Did it feel like a bronze medal game? I don't know what it should have felt like, to be honest, which is probably the nice thing, because it was my first and everything. But I remember in every game, pretty much, we'd had, like, our reserves, maybe the odd people from Team GB House that were allowed to come and watch. So you've probably got, like a little huddle of 10 people in the crowd, maybe. And then the opposition would maybe have 10 people as well. And I do remember that for the bronze medal game, a load of the volunteers that were off duty were allowed to come and watch. So they were, like, all socially distanced in one stand, but they were allowed to sit and watch. So we had more people in the crowd, but it wasn't like, it wasn't loud, it wasn't screaming. It was, a really surreal thing. But I kind of think that in the heat and everything as well, not having to contend with the noise of a crowd and just to be able to communicate and to talk to each other, and it made everything feel very calm. Which is a weird thing. I'd have loved to have a crowd there because the stadiums were unreal. Like, it would have been incredible to play in front of a full sold out stadium. But it wasn't to be. So for that, I wouldn't change the experience at all. But yeah, definitely a different one.
Yeah. And like you said, you're in small company where people can exclusively say that, I've done Olympic Games and I did that one. So it's an even smaller group of people, which is special in itself, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And then finally, you decided to win yourself a gold in Birmingham in 2022 in the Commonwealth Games there. Bit of a monkey off the back kind of feeling of finally we've managed to do it.
A little bit, yeah. We was bored of bronze medals.
Yeah, too many of them now.
Too many. Well, yeah, I'd like some more still. I'd like some more medals anyway, but I'd take bronze at the moment. But we went into the World Cup and we kind of were a bit slow to start in the World Cup. We kind of screwed up our group, got to the quarterfinals against Argentina and played well again, lost 1-0, and we're kind of like finding our game. It just took us too long to get there. So I remember going into the Commonwealth feeling like this was our tournament and this was our time, and we're at home. We've just kind of felt like we'd underperformed at the World Cup. That there was so much, I can't describe it. There was just a certainty that I genuinely felt from the get-go we were going to go and win that gold medal. So yeah, to do it was incredible. And I think I remember straight after the gold medal game walking around to the friends and family bit behind the stands. And I think for the first like 15-20 minutes, I just saw people, I just smiled. Like I didn't have any words, I couldn't speak. And it was more, I think, because I just linked it back to that whole Olympic experience was incredible, but I didn't get any of this friends and family moment like in the immediate.
Yes.
So then to do that at home was probably even more special because of it, because we hadn't been able to do that before. And I said Birmingham, they put on incredible games.
They did.
Having gone from Gold Coast, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit like, Birmingham, like, that's so boring.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, God, this is going to be pants. And I was so wrong. For completely, like, different reasons. It was the most incredible games. And yeah, I think the friends and family element and crowds is what I take away from that. Sharing that moment with them was special.
Yeah, you almost had, I would say, Gold Coast level weather during those Commonwealth Games as well. It was stunning.
We did. Birmingham put on a real show.
They did very well.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Now, equally, you know, we've talked about and joked about, you know, the bronze medals and the gold. Obviously, hockey is, and playing hockey at the highest level is a bit of a roller coaster at times. And obviously then you, in the sort of the same few days, you're able to, was it your 50th for GB cap? And then another few days you found out that you hadn't made the squad for Paris. I'm sure that was a bit of a whirlwind of emotions, that sort of time period.
Yeah, completely. I think I don't realise how special it is to play for your country. And then you get these milestones that remind you've done it 50 times or something. It's a bit of a pinch me moment. And like, God, this is so cool. This is what I want to do. And this is, how special is this? To then, to realise, well, not to realise because you know it. You know that like nothing's guaranteed. But to go from celebrating something so special to, not getting selected was pretty devastating. To say it, like, I can say like I probably always would have said I had a very lucky career. Not lucky, but I'd always been picked for, I'd had injuries, I'd missed out on tournaments through injury, I'd missed out on tournaments through not being selected, but it was never a major tournament. It was not the major of the year, it was the World League qualifier, or if it was the Champs Trophy in the same year as the World Cup and bits like that. So, like, my journey was never completely, like, smooth, but I always considered myself pretty lucky. And then, to then not get picked was, the biggest spanner in the works that you could be dealt with. And, to say probably, I'm very much like a person of perspective. So for me, the fact that my biggest issue at the time was not being picked to go and play hockey at a tournament, I'm still so incredibly lucky that I was almost in that position when you look at what goes on in the world. And to me, perspective is a big thing. But at the same time, you can't hide from the fact that it did like break me, to be honest. So you can't. Yeah, it's a really tricky one that you can do something that you love so much, but it can also have such a negative effect or a detrimental effect on you. It's quite hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Again, we'll leave that. It's done. We'll not get sad anymore. Did that, trying to look at it from a different perspective, did that give you a chance to really then focus on, club hockey, playing for East Grinstead and really pushing through? You obviously had a, was it the 24-25 season that you just won? Or was it the year before?
The year before, 23-24.
Year before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, having a really good season with them and pushing, because it's still relatively a smallish club in comparison to some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And you've been with them like effectively all your career. Is it just a club that you love to play for, love the people? It's given you the opportunities and you just want to try and give back to them?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna just start on the first bit about the fuel from it, and then I'll stop talking about it. Was like,
Yeah.
so many people said to me at the time, everything happens for a reason, and I was like, shut up, like that's not helpful. Like, what reason is this type thing? It just didn't help in the moment.
Yeah.
And then people said you can use this to fuel you going forward, and 100% you can. But I think initially for too long, I'm not an angry person. I'm not a bitter person. Like, I feel emotions and I feel them like deeply. So for me, everyone like trying to use that every day to fuel you was exhausting. And like, that was the past, it had happened. Like, I never want to be in that position again. But to use that as fuel daily was exhausting. So it was a point of like, I have to accept that I can't change it. And I still get pretty emotional about it now, but I don't tap into that every day because my career would not last very long if I was doing that daily.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be done. So that's the first thing. But then, my club hockey stuff, and it became even more of an element of like freedom and enjoyment and expression, and just these people, like, they've been part of my journey the whole time. Like, I've been at East Grinstead now. This is going to be my 9th season there. Like, I went there
Brilliant.
and we were kind of like, we'd make playoffs, but we were always like 3rd or 4th type thing. And I kind of went there because there weren't loads of GB people there. It sounds really ironic.
Okay.
Like, Unzi was there, and I hoped that Bray might come back from when she was down in Holland, because that was always her club. And like, I thought I can learn so much from those guys. But then I'm not with the people that I'm training with every day, so it's still different people and different perspectives and different voices, which is nice. And I fast forward to now, like, the group of girls we have is just incredible. There's obviously a lot more GB players there now, but they're probably some of my closest friends, which is pretty special to be able to rock up and do it with them. And the group outside, there's a balance of, you want to have fun, but we want to play hockey and we want to get better as players, and we'll do that and we'll chase that. And kind of everyone's on board, which is really, really special. Like, East Grinstead just very much feels like home, which, considering it's not that close to home, is quite funny. But I'm very grateful that, well, they found me, I found them, and that's kind of my club.
Brilliant. And I think sometimes that loyalty in, I'll go again, in elite hockey isn't always there for clubs, and it's really nice to see that you recognize, without them you might not be where you are, and without you they might not be where they are, and it's nice to be like, you know what, let's not wreck this, let's keep going, through all this together. So it's nice to see and hear that it's that loyalty to a club is still about.
Yeah. And I think, like I said earlier, I love hockey because it's a team sport and the connections. And I think it's just about that, just like the connections you make and the bonds on the pitch, off the pitch, and like that wider club feel that East Grinstead has of, I know we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I know we've got one pitch, but we have a little indoor hall. We've got juniors. We've got people stick around, people watch. Like, generally, apart from really us in the first team, like, everyone is local, so they can pop down, or they are there and then their dad's playing and then their grandma's playing and then their great aunt or great niece or whatever is then on the pitch afterwards, and those connections and joining that like family. I really like it. I think it's special, and I think it's one of the amazing things about our sport, that other sports are taking off and they've got some pretty cool things going on, but I don't think any sport has that sort of connection that hockey does, if I'm honest. And I think that's something that we have to be proud of, but we can also shout about, because that's our USP. Like, that is what we have that other sports don't, and I don't think other sports will find it that easily, especially as they all take off now. But I think we can grow and still keep that. It's just a case of growing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think it's something to be proud of as a sport. And then, sort of sticking with club hockey in one sense, sort of to help sort of maybe take away a bit of thinking of Paris. You got to fly over to Australia and play for Canberra for the Hockey One League.
Yeah.
That, the more I've spoken to people that have had a chance to go and play with it, it sounds just like a really good, fun tournament. You get to see Australia. You get to play in front of crowds in maybe smaller stadiums or pitches, but it just seems a really good, fun tournament to be part of.
Yeah, it was incredible, and for me, it couldn't have come at a better time, I think. To be honest, me saying yes to going out to Canberra was probably me running away from. I say I love East Grinstead and I love the club hockey stuff, but the thought of going back in and being probably pitch side week in, week out with umpires and hockey family and people that I used to play with and teammates talking about or the Olympics or asking about it and things like that. Like, I just didn't want to engage. So I thought, this is also an opportunity for me to go, and when you get approached to go and play somewhere, like, straight away you feel valued, and probably at the time, having not been picked, I didn't feel valued. So for me to go over there, I adore how the Australians play. I think they go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it suits my game, and it's probably not how we as Brits naturally play. So for me, the opportunity to go over there, to kind of run away from everything, to find my confidence, to play in a league where they play the style of hockey that I feel I'm good at and that I want to do, was amazing. And to go over there and just that, it's a different pressure. There's like an expectation as you go over as an international player. Like, there's an expectation that you'll perform, but at the same time, it's exciting to know that you have that, like, that pressure on you, and people are looking to you and they want to help you and they want you in their team because they think you can add something. So for me, like, it was the best thing in the world. I'd go back and do it again in a heartbeat. I really would. I think just the exposure to new voices, different coaching, different style was amazing, and I really do think I have come back, and I think it has benefited my game, which is really nice to see. So yeah, I would say if anyone has the opportunity to go and do it, I'd jump at it in an absolute heartbeat. And for everyone who says that Canberra is a boring place, I had the most incredible time there. It's not typical Australia. It's not what you think of with white beaches and sand and all of that, but it was, the people there were incredible. And how they looked after us and how they then showed us Australia was just immense.
Funny how you mention beaches and sand. That does seem to be almost a happy place for you when not playing hockey, either on a beach, paddleboarding, surfing. Is that just something that you just love to do? It's away from the sport. It's nice and relaxing. You're in the sun and the outdoors.
Completely. I think you're in the outdoors and you can just disconnect from everything that's going on. I think for me, like, especially last summer, going in the sea, like, you're just being humbled by waves. Like, it's incredible. You're there, you're doing something else. You're so connected to, like, the outside nature, and you feel everything that's going on, but you're so present in the moment that it's hard to think about anything else when you're being battered by a wave or you're trying to hold on to your surfboard so you don't get washed away, you know? But yeah, I think being outdoors, obviously I've always been a sports mad person. I've always been active. So for me, like, that's always been what I'd go to on a rest day. And throughout my career, I've had to learn that being restful probably needs to be a bit more sitting down than paddleboarding and going out on my mountain bike and getting down to the beach. So when I do get time off where I can actually be a bit more outdoors and go to the beach and do that, I love it because it's a good thing for me.
Yeah. I think everyone needs their switch off time, and it looks like, and certainly feels like, that is your. I'm not going to be thinking about anything other than, like you said, holding onto a surfboard or a paddleboard for the next wee while, so I don't get swept away. It's always a bonus. And I do have to ask, do you hold your Blue Peter badge higher than the medals that you've won, or is it on equal footing? is it proudly displayed higher or in a more visual place compared to the medals? How did that all come about? Because that's pretty special.
Yeah, that came about after the commies, and to be invited onto the show was really, really cool. Just these are things that when you do the sport, and it's just kind of like a consequence of it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most lovely consequences because I say it again, like I think I've said it a couple of times, so it's just a full circle moment, which is just really, really special. It's in the same cabinet as my medals. Good. They're all on display next to each other, so it's got pride of place, I'd say.
Very good. And
I guess the medals live in their box. The Blue Peter badge doesn't have a box, so it's on show, I guess, every day.
Good.
But yeah.
Funny enough, that was my next question, because in an earlier episode I was speaking to Sarah Robertson, and she's got her medal, nicely hidden away in a sock drawer. But I hear, are yours nicely displayed in a cabinet, or are they hidden away too?
Mine are kept in a cabinet. So my
good.
family home is Maidenhead. So in our family home, which is I live at home still because I'm training nearby. So they are in a cabinet, which is cool. Don't get them out enough. Don't get them out enough to look at them. Should do it more.
Yeah, take them everywhere. I would be. I'd be certain that Blue Peter badge would be on every item of clothing that I leave with. Just sorry, I'm just gonna skip ahead of you. Sorry, Blue Peter badge. I'm just coming around here. Yeah, I think that would open more doors than those medals, maybe.
Quite possibly.
And then I'm assuming you got the invite to the Great British Menu purely on the fact of the lockdown meals that you were showing off throughout as well.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I think I love being outdoors, but I also don't like to plan too far in advance. So when the Great British Menu call came, it was kind of like a last minute thing, and we'd just got back from Olympic qualifiers in Valencia, and we only had 2 weeks off or so. But I hadn't figured out where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do, whereas most people had straight away booked and got away. So I don't know where I was on the list or how high up I was, but I was around, so I was able to go to it. And I've grown up watching Great British Menu, and my parents love it. And funnily enough, I was watching the rounds before I got the phone call saying, "Would you like to come?"
Brilliant.
So that was a really cool experience. And again, like, it's the consequence of sport and the doors it opens up that you just never expect, and is really special because it's something so completely different to what you do day to day, and something that not everyone gets the opportunity to have a go at or to be invited to. So it's done some pretty cool things off the back of it.
And then you need to talk me through this team jacket that you seem to have now got involved yourself in through your embroidery. Obviously the video that was posted is hilarious, and did the embroidery come first or the jacket come first?
So, as I said, I'm not very good at resting.
Yeah.
So I had to try and find some things that I could do sitting down that would sort of engage my brain. So at the start of 2024, I decided to try and make an embroidery wheel. I'd done a bit of sewing at school. I was useless at it. I hated it. I dropped it as soon as I could. My mum had a big birthday, so I tried to make her something. She'd done a lot of sewing when she was younger, so I thought I'm going to have a go.
Yeah.
And I tried, and I kind of got a bit hooked by this embroidery bit. So my 2024 goal was to do an embroidery wheel where every month I'd embroider what I'd got up to.
Yeah.
And the hope was it would have been a special year. Was hoping to go to an Olympics, to like all of that. And I kind of got to May, and then we had lots of Pro League, and then it was busy. So I didn't stay on top of it. Selection happened, kind of fell off the wagon. Then I went to Australia and obviously had the most incredible time. So then I started to fill in the Australia side and then like backtrack through. And I finished it, and I've now got this wheel, which I think I put it on my Instagram. Like, I think it's really, really special. But it was quite a big commitment, and I thought I can't do that again. So I'm just going to try and do like little projects and keep stuff going.
Yeah.
And then Pippa Locke, she'd been playing over in Australia, and for their man of the match, they had a jacket and they did this. So she brought the concept to everyone when we were at Bisham of, can we have it like, what about a team jacket? We celebrate our values, and we kind of made it our own. And Lockie said, can you make something for the back of it? So I went, yeah, like, I'd love to have a go. I didn't realise quite how long it would take me, the task of it.
Okay.
It took me a lot longer than I thought, and that it's a thick jacket and it's got an inner lining, so there was all sorts of
Brilliant
arts and crafts going on to cut the inner lining to then be able to do it and not stab myself as it went along. But yeah, the jacket, it turned out really, really special, and
it did.
It's now like something that we're really proud of, that as a squad we'll hand it out at the end of each week to someone who, basically the previous recipient of it, gets to choose who gets it next. And it's, if you've lived our values, if you've gone above and beyond, just something that resonates with what we're trying to do as a squad and how we want to be as sort of individuals around our training base. So if you get it for basically the week's training, you're allowed to add something to the jacket. So it started with just a line on the back, but now there's a little crocheted England flag on it that Martha Taylor added. There's a badge that's a picture of the whole squad that Lizzie added. We've got one of the Grace O'Malley Kumar badges on it. Miriam's added a badge to it recently. Flora's still yet to add something to it. It's really, really special, and it's just building. And if you get player of the match, you get to write your name on the arm. So it's kind of like a little, and even in like at Europeans just gone after Spain, like the last thing you really want to be doing is giving someone a player of the match award, if that makes sense. Like when you feel like you're just down, but it puts a smile on everyone's face, and it's the consistency piece of, this is what we do, whether we win or lose, we do this and we celebrate, because there's always going to be positives, and we have to take those, especially when you're feeling down in the dumps because you've just been knocked out and not made a semi-finals. There's still positives you can take from things and keeping those spirits high. So the jacket's been incredibly special, and for us, like, we have we're a GB squad, we train at Bisham, we then go to an England squad. All the how it all works is tricky to sometimes maybe have our own England identity. So for us, it's really special that I probably feel this is probably one of the best times since I've joined the programme where we've been able to have our England identity and celebrate it and make it feel different to how it feels when we're GB, which is a difficult task because we have the same training bases, largely the same people, we have the same coaches. You just have 5 or 6 girls that go back to their home nations. So for us, it's been really, really special, and long may it continue, I hope. But we'll see how it goes.
Me too, because there will be a point where the jacket will be full and you'll have to then embroider something else on another jacket. And you have to go bigger than the lion on the back of the first one.
Yeah, that was, it was amazing. It was really fun to do and really cool, and it turned out pretty well. So maybe I should retire at that point because can't top it.
Can't top it. Yeah, fair enough. but no, look, I appreciate all the time that you've given us. I've only got a few more questions left that I tend to ask
That's cool.
everybody because it's interesting to see how people answer these.
Okay.
The first one being, has there been a rule change in hockey in the past few seasons that you either love or hate?
Oh, off the top of my head, I'm going to say aerials.
Yes, well done.
Just because the rule changes left, right, and centre. Some umpire it one way, some umpire it another. I adore aerials in the game, don't get me wrong, I think they're great.
Yeah,
But sometimes an aerial is thrown and you literally have no idea which way it's going to go. So
yeah,
it's probably not, maybe the fact there's been so many rule changes around it means they're not really sure the best way to go about it either.
what's happening?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'd probably just say
yeah.
aerials.
That's been everyone's answer. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting. That's everyone's
Yeah.
answer in the aerial rule or lack of or grey area around
Yeah.
it.
I can throw you one other one in there as well.
Oh, go for it.
My other one is around the PCD equipment.
Okay.
When you have 40 seconds to get ready
Yes.
and you have people that aren't ready and then you get sent off or you get sent back and then you're defending with people down. To me,
Yeah.
like, that's stupid. We have protective equipment for a reason. I
Yes.
think it's to
True.
stop people getting hurt. So when you're rushing people to then put it on, or where people don't think they're going to be able to get their knee pads on, so then they run out without knee pads on and they get smashed on the knee. I think that's
Yes.
completely
Okay.
preventable. And I don't think as the defensive team, a lot of the time it's clear to see if someone's wasting time or if they're trying to
Rush
get
something
on with
on.
it. Yeah. So that's the other one that I think is stupid. Like, we want to protect the players.
Yeah.
So for me, that is another one that let the people wear their kit, I say.
Yeah. No. To be fair, I respect that. I think that is very true. Unless you have, and especially it's different in international, especially because you have normally one of the ball patrol potentially setting it out for you out the back,
Yeah.
or one of your team managers or assistants getting it out at the back. But certainly in high level club hockey, that's not necessarily what will happen. So then
Yeah.
that 40 seconds is the first 20 of them is trying to find your kit in a bag, and
Yep.
then or trying to find it where you've thrown it last. So yeah, no, I think that's a fair enough reason.
Yeah.
And then is there a rule that you would like to bring in or see happen that can either only benefit you as a player and how you play, or benefit hockey as a whole?
I don't know. I'm just going to steal the hockey one thing we did when I was out there. So they wanted to practice shootouts more. So if you scored an open play goal, you got the opportunity to take a shootout live in play in the moment to make it a 2-point goal. And I thought that was so exciting because it means you score an outfield goal, you've then got a chance to really hammer it home. A corner is still only worth 1 point out there, unless you obviously do your inject it outside the 5, but unless you're chasing a game, you don't do that.
You don't do that, yeah.
You don't do that because the likelihood of you scoring is less. So it's if you're really chasing and you need to try and convert it. So for me, I love that because it meant scoring open play goals, like, was more exciting. People wanted it, and then just for the game, like, shootouts are exciting. Everyone loves them. So if in a game you have 3 open play goals scored by each team, you've then got 6 shootouts in a game, and the game could end 6-6, the game could end 6-3. Like, it then.
Yeah, true.
So I know I've just stolen that from Hockey One, but I love that, and I thought that was really exciting.
No, steal away. Like I said, this all goes into a big book that we send to the FIH, so they can contact you for references if needs be. So don't panic about that. No, that's good. Yeah, like, especially how we've seen this past, I would say probably season past, short corners are not the guaranteed goals that they used to be.
Unless you're Jimmy Anderson.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that, but yes. Yeah, I think doing something to try and break that cycle of short corner. We're going to aim for a goal. We're going to aim for a goal, and nothing happening. That open play, it would certainly liven things up. It would make games more exciting.
Yeah, that's it. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
All for it.
Perfect. No, yeah. Again, another good answer for that one. I'm 2 for 2 so far. This, though, the last question, it's the one that we've asked everybody this season and the last season, and so far it's all been okay. We've had one questionable answer to it, and it is: how do you put your socks and shoes on before a match or training? Do you go sock, shoe, or sock, shoe?
Okay, so I wear grip socks.
Okay.
So the grip socks go on at home.
Okay.
I'll then drive to Bisham or drive to training.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I'll then put my socks over.
Okay.
Warm up just in them.
Yeah.
Shoes on. Doesn't matter like what order. But then once I've warmed up, you then put your left shin pad in. Retie your left shoe.
Okay.
You put your right shin pad in. You retie your right shoe. And then you're ready to play.
Fine. That's a perfectly acceptable answer.
I'll take that.
That's absolutely fine. As long as you do not have a full shoe on one foot and you're barefoot out in the other, we're absolutely fine.
No, that just sounds very wrong.
Yeah, it does, and it's. I think it's opened people's eyes. You're now going to be looking for it. You're going to be sitting there going. You're going to be sitting there going, "Who's a weirdo in this team?"
Yeah, and completely.
Yeah, you're then going to have a talk amongst the other teammates to go, how are we going to fix this? But
we need to stage an intervention.
Yeah, you have to. It's now you've done this. It's now illegal. In the bottom of the email that I sent you to do this, it was in the fine print there. So you have to have that conversation with them.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. But like, Ellie, thank you very, very much for doing all this. I really do appreciate all the time that you've given and doing this. Is there anything that you want to plug or push people towards before we leave?
No, I don't think so. I said I really enjoyed it. Just get behind hockey generally.
Sounds good. No, but thank you very much again, and thank you very much everybody for watching and listening. You can watch the full video on YouTube if you don't want to look at my face for an hour, which is completely fine. You can listen to us on Spotify as well, and let us know what your method of putting socks and shoes on, so we can argue in the comments. And last thing to do is, Ellie, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your sort of break before the season starts.
Cheers, thank you.